Hello everyone, welcome to Tencer Yoga. I have something a little bit different planned for today. On the agenda we have scoliosis and yoga twists, the do's and don'ts. So it's something I get asked a lot about, in terms of people who are working with scoliosis. Should I twist? Should I avoid twisting? And I don't have a clear answer for you, so I'll get that off, just out there right off the bat. But twisting in general has been one of my personal favorites. Now, I twist very differently depending on whether I'm going to my right side or to my left side because of my curves. And as much as I love twisting, and I do find it gives relief for certain parts of my back, I can also cause some problems if I don't practice carefully. So what I thought I would do today is just share with you my own experience, how I work through my body and my curves when it comes to twisting, and see if maybe you can relate and maybe translate it to your own body. And maybe together we can figure out what is the deal with twisting and scoliosis. So have a look through the rest of the video and see, and then please let me know. Let me know in the comments or send me a message. And I really do believe if we can share experiences with one another, we will both be enriched. Yeah. And then, the other thing that I would like to say before we dive in is just that whether you have a lot of yoga experience or not, when you have scoliosis, I feel like it kind of demands of you to become an advanced practitioner right away. And I don't mean that you're advanced in doing fancy poses, but I mean it really challenges you to sensitize yourself to what's going on in the body. It's like, you don't have that luxury of being casual because you might do something that doesn't feel so good. So we want to avoid that. And I don't say that to be like a turn-off or, to scare anybody away. It's actually something that I love about practicing yoga with scoliosis. I find that I've learned so much about myself and about the practice, interpreting it through the lens of my nuances and my imbalances in my body. So, yeah. All right. With that said, let's get to it. Okay, first thing to understand here about myself is that I have a right thoracic, left lumbar curve. Okay, so what that means, I'll just exaggerate a little bit, but this will be my convex side. This is my concave side. Okay, so I tend to be short here and long here, and on the back side, this area goes in, it's concave, and this area sticks out, okay? And I'm just talking right now about the upper curve, which is the one that's most problematic for me. There's also some distortion on the lumbar area as well. I'm not gonna talk too much about that at this moment. Okay, so I say that too just because those of you who are dealing with your own curves, if you have the opposite, it might work to just change, flip the instructions, the sides when I'm talking. Okay, so the first pose, the first twist that we're going to do is Marichyasana, this Uttita Marichyasana, standing Marichyasana variation, and I think it'll just give you a good view sort of what's happening here. Okay, so I'm going to stand on my left leg and place my right leg up on the chair and create a square. And then just to stabilize the hip, all I'm doing here is I'm placing the brick at my hip here and against the wall. I want you to ultimately see my back, so I'm not showing you that view, but that's all it is. It's right at the hip here and also at the wall, like this. Okay, and I just check my alignment, see that my standing leg is right under me. I've got knee stacked over the ankle here, and I suck the hip of the standing leg in. I almost think of it like this hip here, I suck it in, and that's part of what's helping to secure the brick to the wall. Okay, so now I'm gonna twist without doing anything, like without fixing it in any way, and I twist like this. Okay, so hopefully you can see, but I just get what it feels like to me is really crunchy on this left side and kind of just stiff on the right side, like not much is happening. All right, so to correct that and to make it feel good, what I like to do is I raise this left arm up. I raise the arm up, get this length through here, and then I turn myself towards the wall. Okay, now I've got my fingertips on the wall. I intentionally move my fingers out, right? So I don't have my elbows in, I have my arms away from the body a little bit. And then especially this left one, because this is the crunchy side, I move the left hand even further from the midline than the right one. Okay, now on the right side, my focus is on pushing the wall to then roll that right shoulder blade down my back and try to penetrate this area in to open the chest. Okay, on the left side, the focus is very different. Here, I reach into my left elbow. Okay, so I'm gonna readjust there my right shoulder and then reach into my left elbow and try to spread this shoulder blade towards my left elbow, right, in that direction. And for me, that feels really good, right? Anything that's kind of open up this area here, because that's where I feel the pain, that's gonna feel really good. And then breathe, okay? Talking is kind of not so great in twisting. Okay, and then release, come back to center. Okay, before we switch sides, I want to show you one more thing on this same side. So I've just moved my chair a little forward so that I can take advantage here of this corner. Okay, and then same starting place. I'm standing on my left leg, right foot is coming up on the chair, and I secure the brick at the right hip here against the wall. Okay, standing really tall in this leg. Okay, and then I'm gonna reach up, lengthen through the side body and turn. And then here, I can actually take my hand around the corner. And then that lets me almost pull, right? It's a different quality to the movement, right? So I can reach into the elbow here, but with the corner, I get different purchase. Right, so I'm pulling the corner and still reaching into a bent elbow and spreading that left shoulder blade away from the midline. Okay, on the right side, it's the same work as before. Roll the shoulder blade down and scoop the tip of the blade in to lift on the front side, to lift the chest on the front side. Okay, the whole time here, this outer hip of the standing leg sucks in, so there's a sense of containment at the pelvis, and then you lift and turn out from that. Okay, and so it's quite nice. You know, in fact, I could have moved a little bit more forward still to get even more purchase, but it did the trick. So if you can work out a place in your home to do your practice where you have access to that, I'd highly recommend it. It feels quite good. All right, so now let's do to the second side, twisting towards the left. And again, same setup here. So this time I'm standing on my right leg, and I've got my left leg up on the chair, and I've got the brick here at my left hip. Okay, so just check out the alignment, suck the hip in, stack the knee, and then from here, you twist. Okay, so again, see this side is not feeling as good. So this is me just doing without any modifications. And this side in here just starts to feel really, really crunchy. Okay, so you can raise the arms up, lift up, get that space between each row of ribs, maintain the lift, and then take your arms to the wall. Okay, so just knowing that you need to lift the arms first before you turn is really a good habit to get into when you're twisting with scoliosis. Now the other thing, and you can see I've done it already, is that this left hand, not only is it going to be further away from the midline than the right one, but I've also got it a little higher. Okay, and that just makes me feel like I can keep more space in here, more space here. So a little bit out and a little bit up. Okay, and then I turn the abdomen, I turn the ribs, and I turn the shoulder. So yes, I'm pushing my left hand and the shoulder blade has to go into the body, but I don't do it nearly as intensely as I was doing it when we were twisting to the other side, because it just does not feel good. Okay, now on this right side here, it is also different than before, because here, yes, I want to broaden, but I also don't want to let this convex side pop out any more than it has to, right? So here I still try to suck this outer rib area into the midline and then turn. Okay, shoulder, I drop the shoulder, I broaden the shoulder blades, but I still suck this outer rib into the midline. Okay, and I'm using my elbow a little, right? I reach into it. Okay, and then release, come back. Okay, let's go through sort of the same principles. It's the same thing, but we're gonna do it in seated Broad Vajasana with the chair. Okay, so for this one, I like to keep a brick here between my knees. Okay, and again, the idea here is to help stabilize the pelvis. So I use my feet just as I would in Tadasana. Okay, the big toe mound, inner heel, and then the outside edge of the foot there, the middle point, I really press down. Okay, and then from the outer leg here, grip into the midline and secure the block. Okay, now inhale, raise your arms straight up. Create space between each row of ribs, and then exhale and turn yourself towards the back of the chair. Okay, and so now this is where we start to get into some of those different actions, right side and left side here. Okay, so turning to the right, you're going to press your right hand into the chair, and then just as you did with the wall, you push the chair, roll that right shoulder back, and try to scoop the shoulder blade into the body. Okay, I'm going to show a little bit more from a different view in just a second. With the left side here, you reach into the elbow. And the same way as how on the wall, you know, I had my hand a little bit away from the body, right? A little bit away from the midline. You can use your elbow similarly. So don't have the elbow down, but lift the elbow up a little bit, right? And reach into it and try to spread that left shoulder blade away from the midline. The whole time here, squeeze the brick, anchor down through your hips, lift on the inhale, and then exhale and turn a little more. Okay, and then release, come back to the center. Okay, so now I'm gonna twist again to the right, but I just wanna show you the opposite side. Okay, so I know you can't see at this moment, but I have the brick between my knees. Feet are doing Tadasana, squeeze into the midline from the outer legs, and then raise the arms up, exhale, and turn. Okay, so now hopefully you can see this right side a little bit better. And here I'm pushing the chair, roll this shoulder back, okay, and I just want to make sure that this outer rib here cuts in. Okay, push the chair, roll the shoulder, cut that outer rib in, and scoop the blade, the tip of the blade also this way, into the body, right? Into the body, so the chest lifts. Okay, and you'll notice this elbow, I don't have it out here, but this one comes more in towards the body. Okay, so my left elbow when I'm turning to the right is away from the body. My right elbow is more closer in. I still wouldn't have it, you know, touching the body. A little bit of air can flow through the armpit region, but a little closer in. Okay, and then release. Okay, so now going to the left side. Okay, so we'll place the brick in, Big, broad feet, press down, squeeze the brick, and then lift up. Okay, raise your arms, climb higher and higher. Exhale, turn yourself to the left. Okay, so now on this side here, since you have a better view of this, my right side, I'll start there. Here I have my hand more on the back side of the chair. Okay, you don't want to lean, but just take it over so that you can kind of pull. Okay, so you're pulling this side of the body closer to the chair. Okay, now again, just as we did at the wall, the thing you want to be mindful of is that you're not letting this convex side swing out even more, right? I'm not letting it go like this. So I have to resist this into the midline, outer ribs in, and then pull myself around like so. Okay, squeeze the brick as best you can, anchor the hip, and like so. Okay, now on the opposite side, so I'll just turn myself around here. Okay, so again, going to the left, this is the crunchy side. So normally, or at least on the other side, I was pushing my hand into the chair, roll this shoulder back, but that kind of just makes this area more and more crunchy. So I want to be really mindful. And again, the elbow helps quite a bit. Instead of keeping the elbow in, I move the elbow out. Right there, that does a lot for me. I can feel space opening up in here. Okay, so I push here, I roll the shoulder back, but I keep that space in the armpit and the side chest region. Okay, it's not so much like scooping it in the way I do on the other side, but I still focus on broadening. Okay, it descends, but it broadens. All right, and then release. Okay, so we've done 2 twists. We did Marichyasana, we did Vajasana. And just to summarize some of the principles that we went over. 1, raise your arms up before you twist. So create space, get the length there and the space before you twist. Okay, that's one good thing to remember. Second principle, when you're twisting towards your convex side, so for me, towards my right side, that's my favorite, right? So the left side has to focus on spreading. Okay, the right side, the convex side, you focus on penetrating into the body. The concave side, spreading away from the body. Okay, and truthfully, that's the principle in both directions. It's just how it's achieved is slightly different. Yeah. Okay, so let that be the second principle. Convex side, penetrate in. Concave side, broaden away from the midline. Okay, then the third principle was placement of the hands and the use of the elbows. So sometimes a really small change can make a big difference. So just this idea of moving your concave side, the arm that's on the concave side, a little further from the midline, or lifting that elbow up a little bit more can just change the whole experience in here. Okay, same thing on the convex side, having the elbow a little bit closer in can give you a little more penetration in that way. Okay, and then don't forget as well that not only are you convex on the back side, but you can also be convex over here. Okay, so this side has to suck into the midline. All right, a little bit long-winded, but there are 3 principles in there. Why don't we leave it there for now? Okay, let me know what you think, really, really, really. Please let me know if any of this makes sense for you. Scoliosis is so different in every body. I mean, no 2 spines are alike and no 2 people have, the same scoliosis. So again, like I mentioned at the beginning, share, let's learn from one another. Maybe there's some tips that we can, that you can help with me and I can help with you. All right.